This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Simonson is absent. Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Bell.
Here. Before we move down to the work session, Steve Selby is here. He is the Coalition's coordinator for substance abuse for Lower Township. Steve, you wish the microphone for a few minutes? Feel free to fire away.
Get this out of the way. I'll move over here so I can. Real quick, I just want to announce February 3rd, this upcoming year, at 7 o'clock here at Town Hall, Lower Township's Healthy Youth Coalition is going to be hosting a public forum for all the public, obviously. Both our steering committee, who's already part of the coalition, and hopefully a lot of you guys who want to take part and to really make some strides into making a little bit healthier of an environment for our youth in our community. Again, I don't want to take your time. I know it's a busy meeting and a busy time of year, but we will be hosting a public forum. It will be February 3rd, which is a Wednesday, the first Wednesday of February, and it'll be at 7 o'clock right here. I'll have some business cards. I'll leave at the back if you need to contact me. Some more questions as reference to what we'll be discussing, but I implore you guys to come out. It's going to be some pretty good dialogue. All right, you guys have a great holiday.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Okay, moving down to the work session. Jim? Got this?
See if he's Steve Morey from Hatchmont McDonald. Steve is here tonight to inform council and give them an update on the beach accesses as far as when they would be prepared to do a presentation to council.
Yes, good evening, everybody. How you guys doing?
All righty.
We've completed our photo documentation and topographic surveys of 33 eligible beach accesses, 11 of them south of Coxall Creek starting. The first one at Douglas Canal Park up to Emerson is the 11 in North Cape May, and 22 beach accesses beginning at Hollywood Avenue to Ocean Avenue in the villas. We found 2 potential emergency access, beach accesses, one at Emerson and the other at Village Road. They're wide enough, and they already have, looks like a firm roadway there. So that's what we have so far. And I spoke to the engineer today, and we would like to have if we could come in the first meeting in February to do our presentation, if that's okay.
Thank you. Good enough. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, we move down to the consent agenda. Questions or comments on the consent agenda from council? You guys have anything?
No.
I do, and I'm trying to find it. I guess it's for the solicitor. The lease of public land. Okay, you're familiar with that, right?
Yes.
I guess within parameters, and it's an honest question. It says, we're given this, how many years is it, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And the only question I have is that it says in here, it is understood by the Township of Lower that the intended use of the leased property will be to park the vehicles of the guests of the Hotel Icona. And I read the part of the lease. I went to page 2, section 4. It says the tenant may use the leased premises for any purpose provided that said purpose complies with all municipal, state, and federal rules and regs. It is understood and agreed upon between the parties that the tenant's intended use of the property is to utilize the lease premise for parking purposes associated with the Hotel Icona. Is it possible, based upon this language, that he could use it for legal yet different purposes? I mean, I'm just
I hate to
asking.
dwell, it's a good question, really. I mean, I guess your question is, do you want the language tightened up a little bit to make sure that
Well-
use is restricted?
Yeah,
I think the intent of the lease was to restrict it to parking.
parking, and that's what I'm trying to say is that, like, let's go to a, for instance, that he
No,
doesn't need it, but backs trailers in there and uses it for storage. And we're next to a playground, and I'm just not sure that we want to have language that's not precise in that.
I was going to say, you would prefer more restrictive and specific language.
I think that the neighbors would too.
And the storage is in there, if you read it, in the event.
I can't, my eyes are going
It
again.
says desires to utilize the leased premises for temporary storage purposes after the summer season. Said storage and the items to be stored
Well,
must be.
I was looking more along the lines, not even
Yes.
temporary, but built,
Yes.
like putting trailers in there or something.
And that's what I'm assuming is that they're
Yeah,
in there.
and if that's just like, you get that kind of a deal off-season, but suppose they decide, in other words, I'm just trying to protect the neighbors as far as that goes.
No, I'm agreeing. It's,
Would you, do you see that, Dave? Am I off?
I think it was a very fair question. I think it's good observation on your part. I certainly don't have any problem if it's the collective wisdom of council or the manager that we put very restrictive language in there, or a little more affirmative.
You all right with that?
I don't
I
have a
think we just
problem.
pull it. Is that okay with council?
I mean, we're not,
Yeah.
we're not talking about reinventing a wheel. I could tighten up the
No,
clause and
and I'm
that's it.
sure he'll probably agree to it, assuming that that's the original, if that's the
Right,
intent.
if that's his intent,
Yeah,
I would
I have no
assume
problem
as
with that.
much as well.
But I just don't want to open up something that 3 years from now, we have a situation over there that we signed off on. And what he's doing is legal, but not something in, respecting the neighborhood in a certain way and their wishes. Okay, so what do you need? A motion to pull?
Motion to remove it, to table it.
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Okay, is there any other council questions or comments on that? Open up the public questions or comments on anything? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion, or you got to read your stuff first?
Approval of the minutes from December 7th, 2015. Resolutions number 2015-363 through 367, and 2015-369 through 373.
Okay, now do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Resolution number 2015-374. This is a voucher for the Lower Township Rescue Squad in the amount of $5,000. This is the balance of the full amount due to them, and they've turned in the receipts for the check.
Does council have any questions or comments? Open up the public questions or comments. Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
I'm refused.
Councilmember Perry? Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Roll down to council comments.
Keep it short for Christmas. That's part of my present. But I want to,
Thank you.
I do want to bring out that our grants coordinator, Colleen Crippen, did put in a application for a land acquisition of the Judge Nathaniel Foster House. As you can see, it's kind of a lengthy thing. Township's trying to get it with open space money, and I want to commend her for that because she did get it in on time. There's a meeting tomorrow, and hopefully soon we'll have more information of what we could do to save that building. Other than that, Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, and God bless you all.
I'll also keep it short. I just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy Merry Christmas, happy and healthy New Year, everyone, and look forward to another great year.
Mayor and council, yesterday at the ferry, the recreation department put on a just an incredible Very Merry Christmas affair with over 300 youths attending, and they're looking forward to the New Year's Eve celebration at the rec center also. And I wanted to say that the grant wagon is continuing in that, talking to the chief of police late this afternoon, we received notice from the state that they picked up the tab on all the new body cameras for our police department to the tune of 23, I believe it's $23,000, which we certainly are happy to have.
Did you say 300 utes?
Yes.
You're up. All right. I was just thinking about how the spirit of Christmas and the holiday season has arrived in Lower Township. A couple of things. We had a meeting last week with under the auspices of the Delaware Bayshore Council, and this was a council you'll remember we talked about that bands together a number of the communities along the bay, realizing that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts and that we can work together to preserve and protect our precious resource, which is the Delaware Bay. And one of the first things that this council realized was that we had a real bit of tension and a little bit of conflict between two groups. One group is the aquaculture community that wants to expand aquaculture, and that's an important part of our economic development message and interest. The other group is concerned about protecting the land for the birds, especially the red knots, which have received federal designation. So we realized we needed to help bring together these parties and hopefully, in the spirit of the holiday season, reach an accommodation. And I wanted to say thank you to Senator Van Drew, who invited the DEP, the Army Corps of Engineers. He had the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, all of the environmental groups together, plus representatives along the coast. And I think it was the spirit of the holidays that allowed for these folks to come together, and we really reached some accommodation in terms of mapping out areas where the aquaculture can grow and do its thing, as well as an area where the birds can have a landing strip. So I was just thinking about Christmas briefly, what's that got to do with our hometown? And it occurs to me that the story of Christmas begins with a tax bill, a hometown tax bill. And you remember it was Mary and Joseph that got the tax bill and had to go back to Bethlehem to pay the tax bill. So I want you to remember that one of the greatest stories ever told begins with getting your tax bill. And remember that, good things can come from your tax bill. The other thing is that the holiday season celebrates really the longest night. And it's at this time when all people of good faith look forward to a brighter tomorrow. And the message of the time is that we're praying for peace and goodwill towards men, right? That's the message that all good people of faith want. Well, I was just thinking if we had more peace and more goodwill towards men, I think it would really help the political situation. I know it would make it so that we wouldn't need as many police officers on the street. And that would save the tax bill. And so basically, at the end of the day, the holiday season has a lot of good messages for our hometown. And that's all I got to say.
You had to go back 2,000 years to find a good story about a tax bill. Announcements. The New Year's Eve party at the Rec Center, Thursday, December 31st. That goes from 6 to 9 p.m. And then the Lower Township reorg meeting will be Monday, January 4th, 2016 at 7 p.m. I also, from our township family to all of your families, the best of the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Stay safe, as they say. Don't drink and drive. And be aware that a lot of people don't follow that thought, so be careful out there. With that being said, open up for public comment at this time. Yes.
Dan Anderson, Town Bank Road. This is mainly for all the veterans out there. Beach tags in Cape May City are again free. All you need to do is go to City Hall, have your discharge papers or your county ID, and they're free to veterans and active military personnel and their families.
Thank you.
Thank you. This gentleman here?
Ed Butler from the Villas. On this beach access, I just want to ask a couple of questions and maybe get them answered. Is the CAFR approved and DEP approved these openings to destroy the dunes 8 foot wide?
I think that there's going to be a town meeting on this, or not a town.
You will have a meeting on this.
There
All
will
these
be.
questions
We've
will
already
come
said-
out. In the meantime, is there any information that the taxpayer could pick up in between now and the meeting that?
Well, is that, well, it would be online. It's in our agenda package from last,
Yeah, it's,
but it's not something that's on, like, in other words,
Preparing the packet, we don't even know what they're going to do yet.
well, I'm just saying what we got as far as that goes, which it has some, I think it was like 3 pages or whatever at the last meeting. But that's already,
That was.
It doesn't have the-
beach access
I know.
permit, yeah.
yeah.
And there's diagrams and information exactly how these would be built on that?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. The
Packet-
purpose
yet.
of this is to do the design.
Right.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The purpose of this is to do the design, which will be part of the application to the proper authorities.
They're
including
working on
DEP.
it.
So
You're
they-
working on it?
Yes.
Correct.
February
Nothing definite yet back from the state that, yes, we can go ahead with this. Is that what you're telling me?
No, we haven't even submitted it yet, correct? Steve?
Well, you're destroying dunes, man.
No, we're not
No,
doing
no, no,
anything
no,
yet.
no.
We're not doing anything.
Anything yet.
these are the
Well,
existing
This is
access.
just,
Are you-
just doing a plan. They're constructing a plan which will be brought here,
Right.
and everybody will have the opportunity to come in and comment on it.
February
Come in and
1st.
comment, but I'm asking again, is there anything visible that you could see prior to it, how this is going to be done?
That's what they're doing now. They're working on that.
And it will be online, it will be.
No, I didn't
available.
say that. I'm saying that I didn't know if we had anything online. We don't have anything to put online because it hasn't been done yet. You have to wait until the firm is done making the plan, and then maybe we can put that online so people can see it at that point.
Which 2 weeks ago, you approved $19,700
To
to have it
construct the
started.
plan, not
get
to
the permit.
construct, yeah,
They get the
to
permit.
work on what we're doing.
Okay,
And
very good.
you'll want to look at, we've been handed a list of 33 street ends that they're looking at. So you want to take a look at that, Ed. That would be,
And,
the street ends
Get a
that they're
copy of
interested
it
in.
later, I get it off of Julie.
and Mr. Butler,
They don't have it.
Mr. Butler, what this is like the access points near your street, they're already there. No dunes are going to be destroyed. They're not cutting into the dunes to make new pathways. These are the existing access ways. They're going to try to make them so people can get down there safer and easier to maintain and keep people off the dunes.
Mr. Conrad, Councilman Conrad, you go down the streets and look, there's dunes above the street. There's only a little trail that's been there forever.
Right.
It's going to be opened up, supposedly 8 foot wide, but I got it from last
Well, I
week.
understand not all of them, mate, but some of them will be. But it's to make it easier for people to get down there. We
think
have to
that-
have a public access plan. It's one of those, the DEP says public access, the state says, but at the same time, we have to protect the dune. So how do we do that? That's what they're going to come up with, and they'll show you the plan on February 1st.
It's amazing, all these years, 65 years I used those beaches and never had a problem going down there. Now all of a sudden you got to have total access, 8 foot wide and all kinds of roads
Okay.
down there.
We'll see what the plan is.
Anyway, I'll wait and see what happens at the next meeting.
Thank you.
February
That'd be
1st is not
great.
the next meeting. Not the next meeting. February 1st. It's
Oh,
3
okay.
meetings from now. 3 meetings.
All right, no problem, thank you.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.